The luxury real estate office sat on the corner of Maple and Fifth, floor-to-ceiling windows displaying properties that most people only dreamed about. Inside, Amanda Hartley adjusted her Hermes scarf and checked her reflection in the glass. At 42, she'd built a reputation as the go-to agent for high-end properties in Westwood Heights, the kind of neighborhood where starter homes began at $2 million. Her assistant buzzed. "Amanda, your 2 p.m. appointment is here. The Johnsons?" Amanda glanced at her calendar. She didn't remember scheduling this. Did they specify what they're looking for? They mentioned Westwood Heights. Amanda's perfectly penciled eyebrows rose slightly. Westwood Heights attracted a specific clientele: old money, tech executives, celebrities seeking privacy. Walk-ins claiming interest in the area were usually tire kickers wasting her time. "Send them in," she said, already planning how to politely expedite this meeting. The couple who entered didn't match Amanda's mental image of Westwood Heights buyers. Marcus Johnson was a tall black man in his late 30s, wearing jeans, a plain t-shirt, and sneakers that had seen better days. His wife, Keisha, was petite with natural hair pulled back in a simple ponytail, wearing a casual sundress and comfortable sandals. They looked like they'd come from a weekend barbecue, not a high-end real estate consultation. Amanda's smile became fixed, professional but distant. "Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, please have a seat." They settled into the designer chairs across from her desk. Marcus pulled out a notebook while Keisha looked around the office, taking in the photos of multi-million-dollar properties lining the walls. "So," Amanda began, her tone suggesting this would be brief, "you mentioned interest in Westwood Heights." "That's right," Marcus said. "We're looking for a 5 to 6 bedroom home, preferably with a pool, home office space, and at least an acre of land." Amanda's smile didn't waver, but her eyes had already begun calculating how to manage expectations. Westwood Heights is a very exclusive neighborhood. Properties there start around $2 million and go up significantly from there. "We're aware," Keisha said. "And you're pre-approved for financing in that range?" Amanda's tone made it clear she doubted this. "We won't need financing," Marcus replied. "We're cash buyers." Amanda's laugh was light, dismissive. "I see. Well, cash transactions are wonderful, of course, but homes in Westwood Heights require substantial assets. The HOA alone has strict financial requirements, which we meet," Keisha interrupted gently. "We've done our research." Amanda leaned back, her patience wearing thin. She'd had this conversation too many times. People who watched HGTV and thought they could afford luxury real estate, who wasted her time looking at properties they'd never qualify for. "Look," she said, dropping some of the professional veneer, "I appreciate your interest, but I need to be honest. Westwood Heights isn't for everyone. The homes there attract a very specific demographic, and—" "What demographic?" Marcus asked, his tone still pleasant but with an edge entering it. Amanda caught herself, realizing she'd been about to say something she shouldn't. "I mean, financially. The properties require significant investment, ongoing maintenance costs, country club memberships." "We understand the costs," Marcus said. "We'd like to see some properties." Amanda glanced at her computer screen, at her calendar full of actual qualified buyers. "Unfortunately, I don't have any availability this week. Perhaps you could start by getting pre-qualified through a lender, establishing your budget." "Our budget is $5 million, Keisha said clearly. "Cash. No financing needed. No contingencies." The number hung in the air. $5 million cash. If it were true, it would be one of Amanda's largest commissions this year. But she'd learned not to trust people who walked in off the street claiming to have that kind of liquidity. "That's quite a substantial amount," Amanda said, her skepticism obvious. "Do you have documentation of available funds? Bank statements, proof of assets?" Marcus and Keisha exchanged a look. "We do," Marcus said slowly. "But, typically, agents show properties first and verify finances during the offer stage." "Typically, yes. But for Westwood Heights, I prefer to confirm qualification before investing time in showings. I'm sure you understand. It's a very busy market, and I need to prioritize clients who are genuinely ready to purchase." The implication was clear. She didn't believe they were genuinely ready to purchase. "So, you won't show us properties without seeing our bank statements first?" Keisha asked. It's standard practice for this price range. Amanda lied smoothly. She'd shown properties to plenty of buyers without demanding upfront financial documentation. But those buyers had looked the part, arrived in luxury cars, wore designer clothes, dropped names of wealthy friends. These two looked like they'd wandered in from a Target parking lot. "I see," Marcus said quietly. He pulled out his phone, scrolled for a moment, then turned the screen toward Amanda. "Would this suffice?" Amanda glanced at the screen, expecting some fraudulent-looking document. Instead, she saw a legitimate Chase private client banking app displaying an account balance, $7,247,582.19. Her expression froze. "We also have accounts with Wells Fargo and Bank of America," Keisha added, pulling up her own phone. "Combined liquid assets of approximately $12 million. Would you like to see those as well?" Amanda's mind raced. This couldn't be real. People with $12 million didn't dress like this, didn't walk into offices without appointments, didn't... "How did you acquire this wealth?" she asked, the question coming out before she could stop it. Marcus's eyes narrowed. "Excuse me? I mean, what do you do? For work?" Amanda scrambled to recover. "I'm a software engineer," Marcus said. "I founded a cybersecurity company that was acquired by Microsoft 3 years ago. And I'm a pediatric surgeon," Keisha added. "Chief of Pediatric Surgery at Metropolitan Hospital." Amanda felt the ground shifting beneath her. A tech entrepreneur and a chief surgeon. Exactly the kind of clients who bought in Westwood Heights. Exactly the kind of buyers she should be courting aggressively. But she'd dismissed them on sight. "Well," Amanda said, trying to recalibrate, "that's certainly impressive. Perhaps we could..." "Perhaps we could what?" Marcus interrupted. "Show us properties now that you've confirmed we're not wasting your time? Now that we've proven we're that demographic you mentioned?" "I didn't mean..." "You absolutely meant it," Keisha said, her voice calm but firm. "You took one look at us and decided we couldn't afford Westwood Heights. You demanded financial documentation you don't require from other clients. You were about to turn us away until we proved we had money." Amanda's face flushed. "I treat all my clients the same." "Do you?" Marcus asked. "Do you require bank statements from every walk-in? Or just the ones who don't look like your typical Westwood Heights buyer? That's not fair. I have to protect my time. By discriminating based on appearance?" Keisha shook her head. "We came here because you're listed as the top agent in this area. We read your reviews, saw your sales record, and thought you'd be professional. I am professional." "You're discriminatory," Marcus corrected. "And honestly, even if you wanted our business now, we wouldn't give it to you." Amanda felt panic rising. A $5 million cash sale, walking out her door. Her commission, potentially $150,000, evaporating because of her own prejudice. "Please, wait," she said, standing quickly. "I apologize if I gave the wrong impression." "Can we start over? I'd be happy to show you properties this week." "We don't want to see properties with you," Keisha said, standing as well. "We want to work with an agent who sees clients, not stereotypes, who treats everyone with respect regardless of how they're dressed or what they look like." Marcus pulled out his phone again, but this time he wasn't showing bank balances. He was opening his recording app, where a timestamp showed he'd been recording since they entered the office. "I have our entire conversation documented," he said, "including your comments about specific demographics and your requirement for financial documentation before showing properties. I'm sure the real estate board would find it interesting." Amanda's face went from flushed to pale. "You recorded me without permission?" "California is a two-party consent state for phone calls," Marcus said, "but not for in-person conversations where there's no reasonable expectation of privacy. This is your office of business, and we're potential clients. Recording is legal." He was right, and Amanda knew it. She also knew that recording could end her career if it went public. "What do you want?" she asked quietly. "Nothing from you," Keisha said. "We just want you to understand that you lost a substantial sale today because you judged people by their appearance instead of treating them professionally." They walked toward the door. Amanda called after them desperately. "Please!" "I made a mistake. Can we discuss this?" Marcus turned back. "You know what the sad thing is? We actually liked this office. Liked the properties you represent. Came here specifically because of your reputation. But the moment we walked in, you saw our skin color and casual clothes and decided we weren't worth your time. I didn't. You did, and you know it. The question is, will you learn from this, or will you keep doing it to the next black couple who doesn't dress appropriately for Westwood Heights? They left. The door closed with a soft click that felt like a gunshot. Amanda stood frozen in her office, her mind replaying the conversation. Had she really been that obvious? That discriminatory? She thought she was just being efficient, protecting her time from unqualified buyers, but they had been qualified, spectacularly qualified, and she'd dismissed them immediately. Her assistant appeared in the doorway. "Everything okay?" They left pretty quickly. Amanda sat down heavily. "They were cash buyers, $5 million budget, and I essentially refused to work with them." "What? Why?" Amanda couldn't say it out loud, because they were black and dressed casually, because they didn't look like her mental image of wealthy buyers, because she'd let prejudice override professionalism. "I made assumptions," she said quietly. That evening, Amanda couldn't stop thinking about the Johnsons. She pulled up the recording app on her own phone, she kept one for note-taking, and listened to the conversation again. Hearing it from the outside was devastating. The dismissive tone, the immediate skepticism, the demand for documentation, the barely concealed suggestion that they didn't belong in Westwood Heights. She sounded exactly like the discriminatory agents she'd always insisted she wasn't. The next morning, Amanda arrived at the office to find her assistant looking stricken. "What's wrong?" "Have you seen the reviews?" Amanda's stomach dropped. She pulled up her business page. There, posted 6 hours earlier, was a detailed review from M. Johnson. Walked into Amanda Hartley's office as potential buyers with a $5 million cash budget for Westwood Heights. Were immediately dismissed based on appearance. Agent demanded bank statements before showing properties, something she admitted she doesn't require from other clients. When we proved we had the funds, she suddenly wanted our business. Discriminatory practice disguised as efficiency. Would give 0 stars if possible. Recorded conversation available upon request to Real Estate Board. The review had 47 comments already, many from other people of color describing similar experiences with luxury real estate agents. Someone had shared it to a local real estate watchdog group. Another person had tagged the California Department of Real Estate. Amanda's phone rang. Her broker. "My office." Now, the meeting was brutal. Her broker, Thomas Wexler, had built his firm on reputation and professionalism. A discrimination scandal could destroy that. "Tell me this isn't true," he said, pulling up the review. "It's complicated." "It's not complicated. Did you or did you not refuse to show properties to qualified buyers?" "I asked for financial documentation first. Do you ask that of all buyers?" Amanda couldn't answer. "That's what I thought." Thomas leaned back, disgust evident on his face. "Do you have any idea what kind of lawsuit this could become? What kind of damage this does to our firm? They were recording me without permission, which is completely legal in this context, as I'm sure you know. Amanda, you've been one of my top agents. But this," he gestured at the review, "this is indefensible. I made a mistake. I'll apologize. It's too late for apologies. The Real Estate Board is already asking questions. We have a mandatory discrimination complaint filed, and every civil rights attorney in the state probably saw that review by now." Amanda felt her carefully built career crumbling. What happens now? Now? You're suspended pending investigation. If the board finds discrimination, you'll lose your license. And even if you don't, your reputation is destroyed. No one's going to trust an agent who profiles buyers. Walking out of the office felt like a death march. Amanda had spent 15 years building her career, her client list, her reputation, and she destroyed it in a 15-minute meeting because she couldn't see past her own prejudices. At home, she did what she'd avoided doing. She looked up Marcus and Keisha Johnson. What she found made her feel worse. Marcus wasn't just a software engineer, he was the founder of CyberShield, a cybersecurity firm that had sold to Microsoft for $340 million. He was quoted in tech journals, had spoken at conferences, had been named one of Business Insider's 40 under 40. Keisha wasn't just a pediatric surgeon, she was Chief of Pediatric Surgery at one of the nation's top children's hospitals. She'd published groundbreaking research, pioneered new surgical techniques, saved countless children's lives. They were exactly the kind of high-profile, high-net-worth clients that agents dreamed of representing, and Amanda had dismissed them because they'd worn jeans to a meeting. The irony was devastating. 2 weeks later, Amanda received a letter from the California Department of Real Estate. Formal investigation opened. Her license suspended until the investigation concluded. She tried reaching out to the Johnsons, hoping to apologize, maybe find some way to make amends. The message went unanswered. Through mutual contacts, she learned they'd found another agent, a young black woman who'd just started in luxury real estate. The Johnsons not only bought a $4.8 million home in Westwood Heights, but they'd referred 3 other high-net-worth friends to the same agent. Amanda had lost approximately $400,000 in commissions because of 15 minutes of discrimination. But the financial loss wasn't the worst part. The worst part was looking at herself honestly for the first time and recognizing what she'd become. She'd convinced herself she was just being professional, just managing her time efficiently, just working with qualified buyers. But the truth was uglier. She'd been profiling clients based on race and appearance. She'd been discriminating while telling herself she wasn't. She'd been part of the exact system that kept wealth and opportunity segregated. 6 months later, Amanda sat in a mandatory fair housing course, part of her license reinstatement requirements. The instructor was talking about implicit bias, about how discrimination often appeared as business decisions or efficiency. Everything described her interaction with the Johnsons perfectly. The key question, the instructor said, is not whether you consider yourself racist. It's whether your actions perpetuate racial inequality. Intent doesn't matter if the impact is discriminatory. Amanda finally understood. She'd spent years insisting she treated everyone equally, while consistently providing better service to white clients who looked the part. She'd maintained her success by servicing a segregated market and keeping it that way through subtle discrimination. After the course, a young black woman approached her. "You're Amanda Hartley, right? The agent from that viral review?" Amanda braced herself. "Yes. I'm studying for my real estate license. I wanted to thank you." "Thank me?" "That review showed me exactly what black buyers face. It motivated me to get my license so I could serve clients who get dismissed by agents like you were. So thank you for being such a clear example of what not to do." The words stung, but they were fair. Amanda had become a cautionary tale. The agent who lost $400,000 because she couldn't see past race. The professional whose career imploded because of 15 minutes of prejudice caught on recording. A year after the incident, Amanda's license was reinstated with conditions: continued education, mentorship with fair housing advocates, and a probation period. Her reputation never fully recovered. High-end clients avoided her. Her business shifted to mid-range properties with buyers who hadn't heard the story. But she learned. She started actually treating all clients equally, not just claiming to, but actually doing it. She volunteered with organizations helping first-time homebuyers of color. She mentored new agents about recognizing and avoiding discrimination. It didn't undo the damage, didn't erase the review, didn't bring back the Johnsons or the career she'd built, but it meant she finally understood what she'd been doing wrong all along. Meanwhile, the Johnsons thrived in Westwood Heights. Their home became a gathering place for black professionals, entrepreneurs, and creatives. Marcus started an investment fund specifically focused on black-owned businesses. Keisha expanded her surgical practice to include charity work for uninsured children. And when other black families asked for recommendations for real estate agents, they always mentioned the young black woman who'd treated them professionally from the first moment, and they always warned about the agent who hadn't. That story, of being dismissed, of proving their worth, of walking away from discrimination, became something of a legend in their community. A reminder to document everything, to know their worth, to refuse to accept discriminatory treatment even from supposed professionals. The young agent they'd worked with, Maya Chen, became one of Westwood Heights' top producers. She built her business on the clients that other agents dismissed: people of color, immigrants, young tech workers who hadn't yet learned to dress the part. She saw potential where others saw problems, and she always credited the Johnsons with giving her that first major opportunity. 5 years after the incident, Marcus ran into Amanda at a charity event. She'd aged visibly, the stress of rebuilding her career evident in new lines around her eyes. "Mr. Johnson," she said quietly, "I owe you an apology. You owed me an apology 5 years ago. I know, and I'm sorry. For what it's worth, that day changed me, made me confront things about myself I'd been avoiding." Marcus studied her. "Did it really? Or are you just sorry you got caught?" "Both, honestly. Getting caught forced me to look at myself. What I saw was ugly. But I'm trying to be better. Trying isn't the same as succeeding." "No, it's not. But it's more than I was doing before." Marcus nodded slowly. "I hope you mean that. Because there are a lot of people like us, qualified, successful, ready to buy, who get dismissed every day by agents who can't see past their prejudices. Every one of you who actually changes makes a difference." "I'm trying," Amanda said again. "That's all I can promise." It wasn't forgiveness, but it was acknowledgement, and sometimes that was the first step toward actual change. If this story resonated with you, remember, discrimination in real estate isn't just wrong, it's expensive. For buyers who face it, for sellers who miss opportunities, for agents who lose commissions, for communities that remain segregated. Share this with someone in real estate. Remind them that assumptions cost money and perpetuate inequality. Demand better from professionals who claim to serve everyone equally. Subscribe to Real Justice Stories for more tales of discrimination confronted, accountability demanded, and systems that slowly, too slowly, begin to change. Thank you for watching. Remember, wealth comes in all colors, success wears all kinds of clothes, and the buyer you dismiss today might be the $5 million commission you lose forever. Treat everyone professionally. It's not just morally right, it's financially smart.